I'm Frank Sayles Jr., reporting for the Tifton Grapevine. Following months of discussion and lengthy debate, Tifton City Council, in a special called meeting on Wednesday, January 22nd, reached consensus on new sign guidelines for the city. The proposed regulations will prohibit flashing, blinking, and strobing electronic graphic display signs. However, scrolling messages will be allowed with a minimum display of 7 seconds. Both electronic display signs and illuminated signs would be allowed in the Historic District in commercial areas upon approval by the Historic Preservation Commission.
So again, you appointed a committee. That committee morphed into several other committees, and what it boiled down to was you had the HPC, the Historic Committee, if you will, and you had the business community. We had these meetings, and the summary that Bert passed out last time, I think the most divisive topic in there was the electronic graphic display signs, or the disparity of opinion, if you will, amongst council. But in the summary and the compromise between all those committees and all those meetings we had was that EGD signs, the electronic graphic display signs, would be permitted in the commercialized area. However, the only way they could put a sign up is it would have to go to the Historic Preservation Commission, and on a case-by-case basis, they would evaluate whether the appropriateness of each sign that someone wanted to put in.
Is that accurate? Is there anyone that wants to have a flat prohibition of EGD signs in any particular area of the historic district, or just leave that up to the Historic Preservation Commission to determine on a case-by-case basis?
I continue to get calls from constituents of District 4 who have said, I don't want, you know, we put so much energy and effort into the central business district, and if we're just going to make it look like the rest of the town, I-75, Highway 2, then we've kind of shot ourselves in the foot. And the thing that makes our central business district or downtown or commercial downtown, whatever, however you want to call it, unique is its aesthetics, its appeal, its flavor, its flair, and what it is. And I got a call this morning from someone who said, I want to reiterate to you, I know y'all are talking about it today, we do not, and these are business people. They don't want to come forward because they're afraid they're going to show up in the rant and rave, or they're going to have some impact on their business, or someone's going to, you know, there's going to be some negative impact on them. But they called me saying, I'm counting on you as my representative of this area. Either I'm a resident that lives here, or I'm a business within your district. I don't want this, and so I have to stand firm. I have not had not one single constituent call me and say, please support the EGD signs. I have not had one.
As mayor, I've got something to do with all the districts. And I've got many calls. Opposite of what Julie's got. Some calls I've gotten, some of hers, I have said. The two groups met. The historical group met, the business people met.
We don't need to separate them out, because there are business people that are historic minded, historic preservation minded.
So well, no, those are the two groups we put together to come up with something. They came up with it's okay to put ESG signs in the historical district. So I have no problem with it based on the group that we appointed to do it.
I know. But
you helped appoint that group.
I understand
what
I'm saying.
Now they come out with this and we don't listen to it. So.
Jamie, is this going to be another, where's your gavel? You know,
no,
I mean, I thought we were having a discussion. So, he asked a question. I'm answering the question.
And I answer. I'm answering the same question she's answering. I'm just answering differently.
What we try to reach a consensus with, we will present to the Georgia Historic Preservation Division of the DNR, and you know, so they can take a look at it and you know, give us their review and their recommendations. And so then we get those the review and recommendations back, and y'all be able to take that into consideration when you reach a final decision about what you want to do.
And you need a consensus today. You've got Julie's consensus, you've got my consensus. There's 3 other people on the board.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, in the commercial areas only with HPC guidelines here. So they have to approve it case by case basis. Is it appropriate? Is it not appropriate? So you've got to have checks and balances. So it's just not point blank, everybody needs to do it.
Okay, Wes?
So you said what we're going to do is present it to the state.
Correct.
Well, I went ahead and beat around the bush. I just went ahead and asked her. I emailed her and asked her, what would the state's position be if we presented an amendment that would allow LED and EGB signs in our commercially zoned historic district, which would not be, which could be on the outside of the building or with a freestanding sign, as long as the signs were approved by our local HPC. This compromise would not jeopardize our historic affiliations, which that's my main concern. There's tax credits and grants that are out there for our local developers to renovate our local historic buildings.
Eller said that the State Department of Natural Resources Historic Preservation Division replied that it would not favor the proposed changes to the city's Historic Preservation Commission guidelines. And also, the DNR said it would recommend against the city certification as a certified local government.
Any issue that would affect those tax incentives or grants, I would not be in favor of it.
And that the grants would not be approved? Or that recommendation would not be?
The recommendation.
They are simply a recommendation. They can't make us do anything.
Well, they know, that's right. She did say, she did mention that we could do whatever we want to. That was just a recommendation on our behalf, that we could do whatever we want.
Recommendations.
But it could compromise those tax incentives.
So are you saying you would not be?
I would not be in favor of changing or amending the HPC manual that would.
Okay, so he agreed with you. You don't agree with them. I don't agree with them. You're next.
I disagree with option one.
Well, it's
You
not about
agree or
option one.
disagree?
It's just about the
Yeah.
EGD signs in the. That's all it is.
No, they can't just, like you said, they just can't tell us what to do about the grants.
They're not telling us what to do, they're telling us,
They could recommend.
they're going to recommend,
I recommend it.
they're going to recommend that we keep, obviously, the things the same. But then again, it could affect.
It could put it in jeopardy.
I mean, it could. They're not saying that it will or that it's mandatory. They're saying that it will. They could.
A majority of council decided that the city will not further regulate interior signs and business windows, thereby allowing any type of blinking or flashing sign as long as the sign is no more than 30% of the window size.
I said from the beginning, I don't mess with the interior sign. That's almost like communism. I mean, you can't go inside somebody's place. I'm very uncomfortable with that. Very uncomfortable with that. So,
Just so I understand, hypothetically, if the HPC makes a determination that an EGB sign would be inappropriate for a certain location, then that same person, without HPC approval, can place that same sign on the inside.
They could take that exact same sign. If you can't put it on the outside of that window, HBC says you can't, I can bring it on the inside. And the public, as far as the walking and driving public, can't tell if it's on the outside or inside.
I'm okay. If it's on the inside, good one to do it. As long as it's not vulgar, as long as it's not 30%.
City Council also set guidelines on banners, political type stick signs, and also A-frame sandwich board type signs in the city. The recommendations will be sent to the State Department of Natural Resources for review. The local planning commission will also review the changes before City Council takes its final vote on the sign amendments. This is Frank Sayles Jr. reporting for the Tifton Grapevine.